Yes. Hello everybody. I'm Erik Jacobsen, coming from Denmark, and I will try to give you a short presentation of how things are going on at our end of the world. During the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes I will connect to these or relate to these headlines, and we can just start right on now. And you may not know, but Denmark is quite a small country, 5 million inhabitants, just nearly the same in New Zealand. We have one big town like you have here, Auckland, Copenhagen, 1.3 million nearly, and the rest of the cities are about 50,000 or 30,000, the most of them. But these are the 4 biggest towns. We have now in Denmark only 5 regions. Earlier we had 15 regions, and this structure was we began doing the conversion in 2007, and we have completed that now. The country is like this. The largest region here is Copenhagen, and of course that's the most populated region, but you can see the other regions is about 1 million, and then this countryside of Denmark, far away, they are only 500,000. Laboratories in Denmark is not like you have it here. We have these 3 kinds of laboratories since ages: biochemistry, microbiology, and histopathology. And they had scientific societies since ages. And when we started WebReq, it was like this, but in the last 2 years, the way we communicate for these 2 kinds of laboratories is now the same. They were different in the beginning. Nearly all the laboratories are connected or located directly to a hospital, but there are a few private funded laboratories. The biggest one in Copenhagen, KPLL, is like this. But although we have those many laboratories, since 2002 they all could receive artifact messages. It's the same as HL7 or XML, but structured messages. All laboratory results are sent by messaging also since the late 90s, and we really had quite a lot of list systems. We still have fewer, but we still have a lot of list systems. Also GP systems, but they can all communicate with these Medcom standards. And it's like the statement just below here. It's a many-to-many solution. It's not just from a laboratory to 100 GPs or something like that. It's many-to-many. Everybody can communicate with everybody, but not everybody can. They cannot all receive all messages, but they can communicate with each other, all of them. DMDD was founded in 2004. I will show you a slide later with some graphics showing why it was possible for us to start this company, because nobody was fond of how lab ordering was going at that time. So we were really 4 companies competing with each other doing GP systems, but be joined doing this. Yes, the expectations at that time from the patient's point of view, it's quite simple. Why visit the healthcare system more than once if it's possible to take all samples at one visit? I think the other statements are quite self-explaining. Some of the last one here, of course, that's what the patients want. No faults, please. And again, if a test has been done a month ago or 2 weeks ago, why should I have that test done again? What doctors want, if you have made GP system for many years, you will see statements like that. We can't do that, but nearly. Just one click and my requisition is finished. And we had the same experience here at your place. Don't do it just like on paper. If you have to have some benefits from doing it electronically, so keyword is profiles. Patient profiles, laboratory profiles, doctor profiles, and some of the latest things we have experienced in Denmark is now they want government profiles, saying you have to do this and this. If you have to start an investigation or some sickness you have to cope with. And also profiles from the laboratory which cannot be edited, so that the laboratories overnight can change a profile and they know it's unchanged for all the doctors. Today you can change, when you have inherited a profile, you can add some stuff yourself or you can edit it, but they want also, that's okay, but they also want profiles which cannot be edited. And because we are the country we are in Denmark, all laboratories are available for all doctors at any time. They have a preferred laboratory, okay, but they can address all the others too. WebReq or eLab must also support the different kinds of workflow we have in the clinics and in the laboratories. So what we're doing mostly in Denmark is sampling in the clinic, ordering and sampling in the clinic. But in Copenhagen, at the big laboratory, they are ordering in the clinic, but they are sampling at the laboratories. And then we have the two last one, ordering in the clinic and sampling at the patient's home. And the hotel business, WebReq or eLab Hotel, is becoming a bigger and bigger way of communicating. That means that someone inside the healthcare system can make an order, and it can be sampled or done after 5 minutes, after 1 week, or after 2 months at another place in the healthcare system. So if you put an order on the hotel, not just only save it internal for your own clinic, but on the hotel, that it means that anybody else in the healthcare system can see that order. What laboratories want, you have to tell. But okay, of course, saving time, improving quality, not keying in anything again. The right tubes, always the tube marked at initially correct, no renumbering, and so on. If you have tried eLab or WebReq, you will experience that very quickly. Another big thing is that I'm sure as a laboratory you spend a lot of money communicating with your users, get your messages, your ideas, your information out. But here you also have a system where you can address your clinics or your users at any time. It will take effect immediately. If you have a broken machine and you want to use another machine tomorrow, you can change the tubes overnight. If they are testing or sampling in the clinics. What government wants on the long term and just right now, of course they want some way of monitoring how lab ordering is developing. But they have the same goals as the patient, no extra tests, possibility of central guidelines, and the rest is really the same, improving quality of course. There can be some educational aspects using WebReq also. And one of the latest things we have done in the last 3-4 months is going into a small scientific research because all clinics in Denmark uses WebReq, so it's possible to even if it's a research where you have not very many people having that disease, you can do something in WebReq. For instance, if you have a special test or analysis, you want to add some prompts, some questions, and some including questions for this investigation. You can do that in WebReq. You can pick out 1 or 2 laboratories, and you can pick out 4 or 5 clinics, and so they can participate in this way. And again, of course, this is not something that WebReq does, but in the long run, you want to have one transparent system, just like Kaiser Permanente, but not only having one IT system. Now you have, as you saw in the beginning, 30 different IT systems, but still you can see it as one system. These things are important. This one, not bothering the patient, of course, more than necessary, but also if you can go to work and pay income tax, it's much better for society than spending 2 days inside healthcare. And I really think this is where you can save most money. It's not interesting for laboratories or doctors in the first place, but from the government's point of view, it is very interesting. And also a goal on the long run, starting doing common code system is a benefit for all of you. In the beginning, you will see, maybe we will see it like in the way that you are losing some business, but you are not. And in the long run, it's really important that you have common code systems for biochemistry and microbiology. Okay. If you look at this graphics, you can see in 1992 we started with electronic messaging in Denmark, and that was the easiest messages we did. It was prescription, discharge letter, lab results, and referrals. But lab ordering or lab requisitions, that was a tough one. You can see here, nearly nothing happens. And one of the reasons why it is so difficult is you have to have so much data available at ordering time. That's not the issue with these messages. You can just send a letter or something like that. Not very many structured data. But at lab ordering, there is a lot to do. And so Medcom and our 4 companies and some lab systems and lab people, doctors, we had a group of 20-25 people saying, we want to do this. We have done the other thing, why is this so difficult? So within a few years, we deployed 90% of Denmark. And we stole something from the list system, the PTB. We stole something from the microbiologists, the code system. And everyone wanted to bring something in so we could shoot all the things that what people wanted. Hansen and Margit Rasmussen did some investigation in 2009, I think it was, in a small county, 50,000, 1% of Denmark. And they extrapolated these figures to cover what it would be like if it was in whole Denmark at that point, and that was what their results showed. What we are doing with WebReq in Denmark is founded nationally, but it's financed by just the savings of not having all those printed forms which they earlier had. And quality was, of course, improved dramatically. No faults, nearly no faults. No renumbering. They did an article, and you can look it up. You can just see this presentation learning. You can look this article up. And just briefly, how is the data flow using eLab or WebReq? It's like this: the patient and the doctor at the left, connecting to WebReq or eLab, making an order, and unlike you do it here in Wellington, we send the message to the laboratory, but this one could be a web service instead. That's the same, really. And the laboratory does the tests and sends electronically the results return. The hotel, you have of course noticed at the top. Within the last year we have, excuse me, we have now between 400 and 500 hospitality partners also connecting to WebReq because they want to use the hotel function. Having a patient for cancer treatment or something like that, and the patient has to come to the hospital again in a fortnight or in a month. But before the patient comes, he has to do some lab tests. So the hospital department sends an order to the hotel in WebReq or in eLab, and the patient's own GP makes these tests before he comes again. Getting down to earth, yes. We also had another challenge in the beginning. Not everybody had a GP system, maybe 5%, but there were still some requesters, not GPs, but other special clinics or places where they just had a PC and a browser and a printer, and that's really enough. So if we are on here, I could try this one. And I have just made a link here, which should be the same as coming from a GP system with an integrated parameter call. Come on. Yes. What I want to show you here is something about these profiles. This is just a test user. It's a Medcom test user. This is the patient and some profiles. This is a patient profiles only occurring when this patient is on the screen. But what we have done in Denmark recently is a lab result, a national lab result server. And this is outside WebReq, but the server is standing just at the side of WebReq. And the only thing you have to answer here is, does the patient agree that you are looking up his data? You can choose that you want to see it anyway, but then you're coming into this server, and the server is really not containing any data, but the server can connect to all the laboratories in Denmark. And some of the servers which this server can connect is Pathobank and Microbiology Bank, and that is central servers holding a lot of data. But all the other servers is laboratory servers in the different regions. So if you know what you want to see, for example this one, you can click OK, or you can say you want all of it. And as default, there's a 3 months window, but you can change that to 5 years, depending on what you want to look at. But this such kind of facilities is only available over time. If you start doing common coding and open architecture, this will be something you can achieve within 5 or 8 years. It's not done overnight. This is how a GP system looks like in Denmark. I think it's the same as here in New Zealand. And this is a deep link which WebReq also provides into the laboratory's handbook. We call it the laboratory books, about the different analyses. This is what you would see if I had said on this national server I want to see the results. Then I think it's also the same way you represent it here in New Zealand. This button with this laboratory portal, national laboratory portal, is only a month ago we did that. We didn't tell anyone, but they used it heavily from the beginning. This is an example of all the different kinds of paper forms that they did early on, and some of them was really expensive. Some of them cost nearly $1 a piece. But no one uses them anymore, and I'll just comment to it in a minute. We talked about these different kinds of workflow. One of the new, also this one, but the other one is something which is also integrated in WebReq or eLab. When you have all these clinics doing tests themselves, they maybe have some equipment doing 5 or 10 tests themselves. They have to be controlled. Are they showing the right results? So web quality is a way of just taking a random blood test from today's production, put it into their own equipment, and in agreed patient, artificial patient, and then they get, of course, the result back from the real laboratory and a ratio. Does this show the right thing compared to my own equipment? The screens from biochemistry and microbiology. We are using a code system which are invented by a doctor in Aarhus. It's just 3 columns of 150, 200 names, but making a combination possibilities of over 2 million. They analyze the material and location. So combining these 3 columns, you can represent any microbiology test. Histopathology is really the easy one. There's only 5 or 10 different screens. And now back to the PTB, or the form which they all could agree about. It's a blank form, costs nearly nothing, 2-3 cents. And the 5 analyzers going into that purple 5 tube, and another one into purple 7. And this one is one done in the clinic, so therefore the black dot. And yes, that's what we are hoping for. Come here to New Zealand, and maybe we will succeed in Australia. We have contacted Germany a month ago. They are also interested, but your infrastructure here in New Zealand and in Australia is much better. It's much easier for us to cope with your way of doing things. In Germany, they have many Krankenkassen, means they are not central founded, so it's difficult. So you have to go into business with one of them every time. Yes, that's it.